He was the founding principal of IHM Ahmedabad, which was Foodcraft Institute back then. Uh, so welcome.
Thank you.
So, as I addressed you as the Bhishma Pitama of hotel, at least hotel education or hospitality education in Gujarat. So when you planted that sapling in 1974, if I'm not wrong, the FCI
73.
73, and which has grown up to become a tree of which the fruits we are enjoying today. Very beginning, I just want you to describe that initial journey. I'm sure you must have gone through many challenges. There was the manpower challenges, funding was not there, infrastructure, gathering new people, setting up a new institute. Can you please describe the journey, initial journey when you?
Actually, it's always a difficult thing to start any institution, be it education or any social service. Uh, my entry into education has been purely accidental. I came here to Ahmedabad on my way to Australia. We didn't materialize owing to some foreign exchange issues. And my sister said there is an ad because you're going to be here for some time of the FCI. So I just walked in and said, Miss Philip, who was actually the Bishop Padama of the industry. So she said, she didn't ask me too many things. She said, do you want to work here or do you want to work in Srinagar? And what can you teach? I said, I can teach anything. So there was no intention of joining, but eventually I got the offer and I had to wait for the exchange. And I started the first course way back in March 1973. We had 11 students to start with, and there was one single faculty teaching all subjects. Then we got another gentleman who was working as an advisor to the Department of Employment and Training, who was a graduate of the IHM Bombay. His name was Mr. Deepak Nagalia. He joined me in the area of food and beverage service. So there were two people who started off, and gradually, we used Ms. Thangapal as resources to get people, faculty members from many other institutions, because it was difficult for Ahmedabad. Was not known for hotels. Ahmedabad was not known for education, especially in the service sector. The only hotels you would find would be in the what is now Kanpur.
Kama Hotel.
Kama was the only hotel, and then came and the other thing. The whole street was full of hotels, small hotels. And then people who were working in Baroda for the setting up the petrochemical industry, they were staying in Ahmedabad because there were no hotels in Baroda. So you can see under what conditions we started and how we started planning for it. So then we had the first batch were small skill development craft courses in front office, food and beverage service, food production, food preservation, and so on. So we had about 10, 11 students to start with. Gradually, a lot of students came from down south who were very dedicated. The difficult part was to train them or to get them used to speaking in English and understanding lectures in English. But gradually, I think over a period of time, hard-working people, they work their way up. Today, if you look at them, they're holding senior positions in the hospitality industry, purely because of hard work and dedication. And I think we were able to do a lot of things because we were a small institute. We didn't have a proper infrastructure. That became a challenge, and we told our students, listen, mortar and brick do not make an institution. It's the culture, that is the dedication of the faculty which matters a lot. It's you who have to ensure that your hard work pays in the long run. And I think then we had a problem when from Foodcraft Institute, the government of India thought in their own wisdom that we should be converted into full-fledged IHM. So they came and saw the building, and we had 69 rooms, which were partly hostel, partly for classrooms and so on. It was housed in what we call the old Sachivalaya or Polytechnic. And because Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad just became an independent state in 60s, so they were trying to set up their secretariat. So Polytechnic was an old building which was vacant, so they set up their offices there. And so we then this building, part of it was handed over to us, which was the hostel block of the Polytechnic. So they came and saw and said, okay, temporarily we can start the campus here. And we went in a couple of interviews, some audit meetings, and eventually 1984 we got the first diploma in hotel management, first batch. And we thought it fit that we should have some kind of a trade test or a competitive exam. So we involved some people on the BK Institute of Management who designed our first entrance exam. Based on the performance of the student, we got the students selected on that basis. And then we started the thing. Then we found out, and students were not as, in the sense, active or knew a lot of things beyond Ahmedabad or beyond hotel management. But eventually they realized, that you are competing in an environment where institutes have been established in 1954. And what do we do? So we thought that in order to come at par with these things, so we approached the IIM Ahmedabad and said, for some of the management lectures we want people to take at least 1 or 2 lectures in 6 months or 4 months at a time. So we had Professor Munappa, we had a lot of other people who came and just talked to the students, and then that gave them the boost that people mind coming. Then we approached HL College for our financial management, commerce and so on. They were therefore much better and on par with the other institutes as far as our management and commerce courses were concerned. Then we were lucky to get our English teacher who had specialized in teaching English to foreign students. She was based in Canada, relocated to Ahmedabad, and she was teaching in Natural College. So we got her to teach communication. She was an excellent teacher. So we were able to kind of bridge the gap between what Ahmedabad Institute was compared to Bombay and Delhi. But we were able to do that, and because we built up that culture of service, we built up that culture of ownership among the faculty. So, and then we were closely knit community. Lot of people, we were all bachelors when we started off, and we spent a lot of time working overnight to ensure that our students do not fall short of or feel shy of attending any interviews. Gradually, we started having all these management interviews. Taj came in and they saw that we were doing an excellent job in our skills, especially in bakery. We had a wonderful teacher, and so they came and said, okay, not only the food, we want to see the people. But what we did to start with was, I said interviews is just not the right way to recruit a long-term looking to thing. So what we used to organize, these cultural festivals. And we requested the team to stay and see for yourself how the students serve in these festivals. And they saw what is the teamwork, what is the kind of thing they are doing, how they are overcoming conflict between the people, and if was there any rush or they are trying to do what they are supposed to do. So that really gave them an inner feeling of the institute and the students and the dedication of the faculty. So, and then they said, okay, these are the people we have seen. Because that time we did not have videos and things of that sort. So they brought their own cameras and took the shot and said, we like this guy, we want to take him. We want to call him for a final interview to Delhi or Bombay or Chennai. So that got us involved, because then it became the trend where they will tell us we are coming for 2 days. So you organize this function and we will see what is to be done. So I think the self-directed or motivated learning got internalized without enforcement, and that really became something which became a permanent part of their personality. So I think that gave us an edge.
This unique way of recruiting or interviewing that you spoke about, that people, the recruiters will actually come and see the students performing and not just
not in the formal way.
Yes.
Because they would have their lunch in the training restaurant.
Yes, yes.
And then evening they would go informal. And the students, they know that interviews are over and everything, they have still decided whatever they want to do. So therefore they were at their ease. And their natural skills were a display.
So students didn't know actually that.
No, the interviews are over.
Right.
So they didn't know that the final selection will be made
Okay.
based on this.
Right.
So they were not acting to
Right.
show that I am doing a
It
good
was
job.
natural.
Yeah, natural.
Right.
And in the sense that this sort of thing to perform or to achieve things in an informal way, self-directed, self-motivated learning, really got internalized into real usable, employable skills.
And even when I meet the old school guys, and they are very much attached to the old campus.
Yeah, they are.
And I personally passed out from the new campus in 2015. Now I want to know from you what I have missed if I have not passed from the old campus.
See, the point is that there is no comparison.
Yes.
See, the point is there is no comparison. One is you're talking about the size,
Yes.
and we were small. We were a batch size of 45, 60 people,
Yes.
manageable.
Yes.
I knew each student by name. Each student, I knew each parent's number by name, and I knew when somebody walked past by my office, my footsteps I would realize. So that is what people knew about me, and I mean, I can still tell you who were the people who were mischief makers, who were the people who were.
Neelakantan.
Neelakantan was also. I met recently somebody from the Doubletree Hilton, and he said, for some student, and I used to visit him in the canteen, in the political canteen. I was not part of it. I know you are the one who created problems, and I got all the information from the LIB, Local Intelligence Bureau. They are posted in all canteens, and you give them a cup of tea, and you will get all the information. ये बात होती है, वो लड़ाई होने वाली है, कल ये होने वाला है. So even today, when Neil talked to me, he said, when we also, the alumni also wants to have their own function for the Golden Sun. And we will do a theme in that old building because our soul is there. Every time the old people, the student meet, they always meet at that campus.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know about it.
Yes. Generation, from that generation, always students remain students and teachers remain teachers. But since you have been into this education, you have seen at least two generations. So what change do you see in the students and in teachers since back then and now? We have to
see. Then fundamentally, one you have to see that there is a transformational thing which is taking place in many ways. One is you see Industry 4.0, Education 4.0, new education policy, the changing, emerging technology and emerging so change is something which is taking place both in the students, in the technology, and in the industry. Because we are not talking about 60, 30 room, 40 room hotels today. We are talking about large, complex organizations which require a different kind of exposure, which require a different kind of teaching, which require different content and how it is delivered. The problem is we had, in the institute where I am advising now, we had a first board of studies meeting, and we said, it's not the content by itself, it's the context within which you teach that. See, you can talk about a lot of things theoretically, but if you don't know how to apply it to the content, how the context varies, and we cannot show so many variations of it. But the problem is both with the teachers because they cannot take ownership of 300 students like I can today. 287, 300 odd students. And the principal cannot know everybody by name. You see, that's one. Only the size has changed. Therefore, you need to change using appropriate technology to get the latest information that you have about everybody's performing and what they're doing. The important thing is the changes which are taking place in the profile of the students is very different. What we refer to as Generation Z. So they are not focused. They are not interested in taking jobs which is available to them. They will take up jobs but leave at the drop of the hat. They will change the industry. Now you talk to the parents. So the problem is how do you get them involved? For instance, in SIHL, which is the State Institute of Hotel Management, we do not admit people directly in the sense that so you pay the fees because the government is the fees is low. We interview them and we tell them that you need to prove or demonstrate your actual interest in the industry. So they say, okay, my focused area is kitchen. Who is your favorite chef? They have to write a biography of. Even we say if it is cut and paste job, they have made some efforts to use the internet. Right? They have copied everything on the internet. Okay, fine. Then they have to defend it and they have to prove that out of 60, 70 students we have recruited this year, about 37 people want to be chefs. Now we have a chefs club. For the membership has to be competitive. So what we do is we ensure that their interests are taken care of. It's not on the paper alone. It's something which we take and we document it and we interview them. We give them an entrance exam to be so membership is not automatic. You have to earn it. You have to deserve it, right? And then for every occasion when we have a lot of board meetings, faculty meetings, we have government officers visiting, collector visiting. Then the chefs club, they have to go and represent, this is the menu we prepare. There's a F&B club. And they go and demonstrate this. So it motivates other people also. Then if you are not doing well, you have to resign from the membership. You need to know what the generation wants. See? Probably they know more technology than we do today. See? And then technology is changing every moment because every moment there is an upgrade in your mobile. So we need to know, and then what we need to know, their best productivity in the night hours. 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning, they are most productive. You see. So you open the canteen, you open something, and you get the best case studies, you get the best quizzes, you get the best answers, you get the best this thing around that time. Can you do that? No. There are limitations. But see, we have to understand that they do this kind of thing. You see. Then secondly, you have to ensure that you put everything on the cloud. You see. So even if they missed a lecture, they can find the resources from there and what happened. You put up the video. We haven't got it as yet, but we know we want to invest into that kind of a thing. So if you want to cater to the needs of the present generation, you need to ensure that the information is available to them 24/7. Yes. You put them on the cloud, they can access it anytime. They can access the library anytime. They can access it. So unless you take care of these things, it becomes difficult. You see, this year, for instance, in the NCHMCT, only 12,000 students took an entrance exam. 6,000 people will call for the council. And many in Haryana, a lot of people have called me, and there are 5 institutes in Haryana. Some have got 2 students, some have got 5 students, and there are not many people who take us. Then they want a job, they want to be in the service industry, but the way we teach is something which has to change. Our teachers have to be oriented, the students will, you have to ensure that there is self-study, they are motivated, and what you say, that information is available to them on the cloud. Yes. They have access to these things with given the password, and it's not very expensive. The technology is, so this is what is required, these changes are required, this technology is required. So they want to do, but they are not interested in waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning and coming. You force them to come, they are not in there, they are not there with you. Right. So you need to understand that you have to be flexible. So their interest is taking, for instance, we have an international skater. Now what do we with him? What is his interest in hospitality? There are a lot of entertainment in the industry, there are a lot of things. So we said, okay, we'll put you in the sporting. There is a girl who is a 400 meters champion. There is a dancer. There is a singer whose favorite singer is Neha Kakkar. And a lot of our faculty members didn't know who is Neha Kakkar. So they now have to find out and work towards the interest and build up stories, weave stories around these things so that motivation is maintained. So you have to ensure that he actually learning takes place even outside the classroom and he has access to the information 24/7.
Yes.
So that is a change. I think that's a major change which is required, which needs to be made. And the investment in technology initially is going to be expensive. Then upgradation is something which needs to be done everywhere. So what we are doing at SIHM, we are setting up a digital hospital digital technology lab in collaboration with some tech companies, maybe TCS, maybe we are approaching. So these labs do exist in Singapore and other places. We have a huge budget compared to a single institute, less number of people. We have a budget. 50% of the money comes in from the receipt, 50% comes from the government. And we have a 5-acre campus which is as big as IHM Ahmedabad. This Sunday we get another 5 acres. So we are putting up postgraduate programs, we are putting up research centers, we are putting up digital lab, and we are putting up auditorium, we are putting up a lecture theatre. So we already have tied up with 3 international institutes. So the first international conference will be in agritourism in 2023-24.
On one hand, yes, education needs to change. But on the other hand, when we talk to people, students, second years, third years, especially those who have to enroll themselves, students are on the other hand also apprehensive, looking at the condition of the industry, whether the prospects of the industry are going to plummet even more or the prospects are bright. I mean, they are apprehensive whether they will be able to secure a job at post.
See, that is the issue that you need to address at the time of recruitment. This is an issue that you can't deny that they are going to be a problem.
Yes.
And therefore, this is the time you look for the success in adversity.
Yes.
You look for opportunities. You see? And therefore, you don't depend on the degree and go, I want a job.
Yes.
You need to know, are you capable of doing, delivering what the industry wants. Don't blame the institute.
Yes.
Because we have put a lot of people in the retail, many hotel people have put people in the retail industry.
Yes.
And they think it's a 9 to 5 job, but it is not. There are not. So, but at least they got a job and they're paying a decent salary in 9 to 5. Even in the pandemic, they got a job. Now the issue is that they need to find out for themselves what the industry wants. Whether the syllabus or the content or what you teach, even if they score good marks, they are still not able employable enough. You see? The employability comes because it's an intrinsic motivation. They want to achieve. You can do a lot of things, and yet you can take a horse to the water and make him drink. You see? So the issue is whether we are over recruiting people, enrolling people, or we are enrolling the wrong thing, are we testing them in the right way? Now you look at the IIMs or you look at the IITs, what is their recruitment? They have also like JEEs.
Yes.
They also have thousands of people applying.
But the entry barrier of the entry is much more strict there.
That is what you must do.
Yes.
See? Because you are looking for people who are bright, you are looking for people who are thinking, you are looking for people who are service oriented. Taj as a philosophy, they will recruit people from second tier cities because they still believe in the values of older values.
Cultural values.
If they respect their parents, they will also respect their kids. But that is not the thing. See, today things have changed. See, Taj also has to change. Every industry will change because they want the best person who's techno-savvy. See, you stand in front of a kiosk and automatically you get a printout for your thing, or your mobile becomes your everything.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, if you can't change things, if you cannot manage technology, you are unfit, even for normal life.
You see, many hospitality startups in recent times, whether you look at OYO, whether you look at Zomato, These are all hospitality startups, but if you look at behind them, they were not started by hospitality graduates, they were started by people from tech industry. So what I call
see,
this,
OYU was not started, he is not even a graduate.
he was not even. So my question is, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying our area is being encroached, not encroached, but people from other industry, let's say tech industry,
Yeah.
are able to do better in hospitality.
No, I think your question is right, but it's a bit reframed.
Yes.
The question is why Microsoft is interested in taking over OI. It is not because OI is a great success. It is because the technology platform
Yes.
that they use. Zomato is also technology platform.
Yes.
So it is not. It doesn't require a hotel management to start. These are all technology based.
Yes.
Anything that is today, you're delivering things at home
Yes.
to the satisfaction of the customer at the right temperature, the right time.
Yes.
So this is not done because you're a hotel management graduate.
But sir, real power lies in the business platforms,
Yes.
and we will agree. If we are dependent on them, isn't it right time for us to start learning these technologies, because the real power lies in the technology.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, the problem is that you need to understand how things change.
Yes.
How much we have changed in the NCHMC.
Hmm.
I was on the board of NCHMC. I was also the convener of the curriculum.
Right.
And we tried to change, but a lot of people didn't want to change because it would cost. We had, in fact, I did an international workshop on human resources development for the Asian Pacific, for the what is called the UNESCO. It's based in Hong Kong. One of the UN is the UN Specific Council for Asian Pacific. 13, 14 countries participated. We decided as our post conference that we will have an international institute of the international level. And since India is the host country, we will see that India prepares a paper. We prepared a paper, was submitted, it was floated to the member countries, it was voted that India should get it. We got, since I was the person who initiated this conference, so I was asked to do some field work and get some man. So I approached our chairman and said, he got a letter from Chief Minister that I'll give you 25 acres of land to start. But somehow down the line, some mismanagement went to Malaysia. See? So yeah, we want to grow, but there are hiccups and there are problems. It's everywhere. It's not something that you blame and say you did this and that. Is not the issue. The issue is you're right. We need to change. We need to change. See, if you look at Cornell as a model, what they're doing. They say there are 4 ways to be successful in the industry. First, you should know what the industry wants. Second is to deliver service and operational excellence in the way and be recognized as an excellent service provider. Then get into the managerial level, and from there on manage more than 1 or 2 properties. And then you get into what is called the construction industry or real estate, because all the McDonald's are real estate investment. So you learn to manage those big organizations, and then eventually you manage many countries.
Right.
See, so they said this is how our students are. But what are we missing is where we can talk. We know what we want, but there is no research.
Right.
We need to really do research of what happens and bring in that research into the investment and see that we change according to the research, or at least we change the content and the context. See, what is research today? Vijay has got his PhD. What has he proved? If he had done something, I'm not blaming him, because in our institute a PhD is a requirement or enrollment. But too many of our faculty are doing PhD. And it's useless doing PhD. Do actual research. What the industry wants. See, I got a survey from Ernst & Young to find out whether we want to do this question. It's very complex. The post-pandemic, what is the status of the industry in Gujarat? What are the skill gaps? So these questions are based on what is required before pandemic. Today's requirement is very different. So the problem is that you need to do research and do disseminate this information to the industry, because what is happening is we are not getting anything from the industry. Industry seminar, I have addressed so many seminars in the industry. They tell you what to do, but there is no support coming from there. Conrad is the most enrolled hotel school in the world. Even other, you go to Conrad and you see these plaques, hundreds of these plaques from every hotel industry. And I've been there, I know what is their alumni. They have a separate office. 1927 onwards, they have a complete record of who supported whom and who is doing what. So, and then the alumni is so rich, so everybody is supporting that. They have a foundation, they have this, but everything is based on research. But research must be meaningful.
Yes.
You see, it cannot. It has to answer questions today.
Problems.
You identify the correct problems,
Yes.
then work on the solution
Yes.
and share the solution. You see, with the industry,
Yes.
and the industry will see, because if you expect the general manager to come and talk to your people, because he has got his own operational problems, he has got his financial budgets to be improved. So you have to ensure that what you are doing is meaningful and will help in doing
It
things.
has to be a two-way.
It can't be one way. You see, education cannot be two ways. We have started what we call the industry interface. So each faculty member has to visit. We have given them a car. We go and visit the hospital. Even if they don't meet you, at least you leave your card there. You meet the learning and development manager. At least you know that there is a visible face. It may take time, but at least you know there is something existing. तो वो इतनी फ्रीडम आपको फैकल्टी को देना चाहिए, इतनी फ्रीडम आपको करना चाहिए, बिकॉज आई एम स्केर्ड ऑफ माई ओन पावर कि भाई इफ दिस गाय गोज nobody will recognize me, right? See, if I goes meet, if I meet somebody, my boss will get angry. See, if I meet somebody, I meet with some interest. You see, if it's
Yes.
see,